Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have another awesome review for you from the brand Sinn. A little bit about them. They were founded back in 1961. They're of course made in Germany. They're pretty much a very well respected mid-tier brand, and they were founded by flight instructor and pilot Helmut Sinn, who recently passed away. So a little moment of silence from Mr. Sinn. Alright, so this particular type of watch is of course a pilot's watch. Now, some key common characteristics and design language when you're looking at a pilot's watch is you're going to try to find something that's really a balance of legibility and functionality, because after all, this is based off of an instrument to tell time. So it's really a tool piece. It has a purpose, not tons of frills. Of course, everyone's going to kind of have their own stylized version of what they believe a pilot's watch should be. But what I think Sinn has accomplished here is really created something that is, you know, quite iconic and very recognizable from afar, from up close, of course. And they've really built their reputation on building watches just like this. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. All right, now in hand, you already start to feel the quality of this particular timepiece, and I think this is really just kind of the ultimate spec as far as this model goes. Now, it is available in a lot of different variants, but what we have here is the Sinn 556A for Arabic numerals versus the I, which would be for the baton indices on the H-link bracelet. Now, what you have here is a piece that's extremely well executed, well designed, and it does carry some weight as far as visual weight, and in that it's kind of iconic, and it's in a very attainable icon, you know, at this price range, you know, well under 2,000 and actually just under 1,500 bucks. I think this is kind of the prime spec for this watch. I think the H-link bracelet is just gorgeous, and it doesn't look like anything else that's on the market. It just like this dial doesn't look like anything derivative. It's derivative from, you know, Sinn's own instrument panels that they used to make for aircraft. So they really own this look, this design, this execution, this excellence, and that's something that really ties into the price tag of what you're getting when you pay for a Sinn watch. So again, you're going to be paying nice watch prices to get a nice watch. This isn't going to be some bargain deal you're going to be getting. You're going to be committing to getting a quality timepiece, and that's exactly what you're going to receive. Now, as far as the dimensions go, they did flash across the screen there in the beginning, but we'll go over it again. We do have that really nice 11mm height, not bulbous in any way, but this is only a 38.5mm diameter, so it is going to be a bit smaller than probably a lot of people are used to. But, you know, as somebody who was an avid, I need it to be 40mm type watch wear, I can tell you from experience, there are just so many other things that go into how a watch wears besides just the diameter. And honestly, I think 38.5 is just about perfect for any wrist, including my own, which is 7¼ inches. So 7.25 inches fits really well on me. If you have anything near that, I think you'll be just fine. You know, you might have to worry if you're an 8-inch or above, you're probably going to want something a little bit bigger. But for the most part, most average wrists are going to be done very well by draping this across them. So the crystal is a very nice flat sapphire crystal with double AR coating on the inner and outer side, and that does help this watch stay so readable and so legible there, because there are really no reflections unless you're, you know, kind of forcing a reflection. But this watch does a really great job of mitigating those reflections. One of my problems with outer AR coating, and some other people too, I'm sure, is that you know, you have a scratch resistant sapphire, really scratch proof, unless you're going to scratch it with another sapphire or a diamond or something. But you're going to have all that, you know, robustness there, but then you're going to put a coating on it that can be scratched. I don't know if the camera's going to be able to pick it up, but I do have a couple of little micro scratches on the top of this crystal to the AR coating, which is annoying, but it's not going to stop me from loving the heck out of this watch. So definitely not a game changer or anything like that, but something definitely to consider. Also, there are tons of DIYs out there on how to remove the AR coating if you're fed up. The good thing is that Sapphire is very strong and scratch resistant, so you can actually just buff the AR coating off if you really want to. Maybe if this gets scratched up enough for me, I'll do it, and I'll do a how-to DIY video covering how to do it. But until then, let's just appreciate it for how it is right now and go over a little bit more about the specs. So we have a screw down crown, which helps enable that 200 meters water resistance. It's signed, really nice. They're well executed. I think the design of the S is, you know, it's not the most cohesive with the actual S in the Sinn logo that they're known for. Honestly, this S is a bit generic there. I could really do without it, or with just something a little bit more well thought out or more cohesive, but it does the job. It's a signed crown and it screws down beautifully. Now, moving on to the case back, of course, it's display, and you can see this beautiful ETA 2824 movement, really highly decorated, really well done, and keeping great time. So what's really nice is, of course, this is a 200 meter water resistant watch, and it has a display case back. So that's just goes to show how overbuilt this particular model is, and just how finely executed. Now, as far as the dial goes, really simplistic. As you can see, everything's printed on, but just sharp and beautiful. Really well done there. Iconic again. Just gaze upon it. This is a watch that has been imitated so many times. I mean, there are companies that are out there, legit companies that are, you know, trying to cash in on the same aesthetic. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Bell and Ross. But of course, Bell and Ross does have a you know, a bit of heritage of their own, but you know, I don't think it outweighs Sinn's, and I think really Sinn owns his aesthetic, and versus Bell and Ross, which I feel more so, they're you know, they're pretty well known for the same aesthetic on their dials, but I wouldn't say that they own the aesthetic the way that Sinn does, because they just they did it right. They did it first, and they're still doing it today, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Nothing against Bell & Ross watches. So Bell & Ross, if you're watching, still interested to check out some of your new models. Now, the bracelet is just gorgeous. We got drilled lugs, 22 millimeters, really perfect for any strap, but this particular bracelet is just about perfect. You know, it might just be my favorite strap out there on a watch for right around $1,000. It's not like the best constructed by any means. It is finely constructed and finely finished, but I just think it's really the cohesiveness of design. I mean, it just fits it suits the case so well, fits the case well. You have these really nice hex screws, really just, again, with the overbuilt, the robustness there. And then, of course, this isn't just a typical 3-link oyster. It doesn't look like anything else that's out there on the market. It looks like a Sinn H-link bracelet. And then you have this beautiful clasp, which, I mean, come on. Did it need to be built this good? No. Is it? Yes. Look at that. And then we got a diver's extension. I mean, do you need to have a diver's extension? No. Do they have one? Sure. 200 meters water resistance. Why not? And then you also have 3 micro adjust, which is fantastic to have. Just really everything is just finely and gorgeously executed on here. Really huge fan of this. So let's go ahead and get this on wrist. All right, as you can see, on wrist, just about perfect on my 7¼ inch wrist. I mean, it might seem a bit small, definitely on the smaller, more modest size side there, but I think it just wears pretty perfectly. Looks great. You know, definitely won't be mistaken for a woman's watch by any means, just because of that bracelet and the design aesthetic. I think it really pulls it off. Of course, For those of you that are used to wearing bigger watches, this might be just the smallest watch in your collection, but I think it's definitely worth a try. I'm trying to get as much of my arm in there as I can get, just to give you a better kind of idea of perspective, because when I bring it up here, this is going to look like a much bigger watch, and it's going to fill the screen a lot more. And generally, you know, up close wrist shots are always going to make the watch look a bit bigger. But as you can see, everything just tapers, wraps around the wrist really nicely. So, big fan. So, while we have this on the wrist, let's go ahead and talk about some of the comparables that are out there. So, let me bring in kind of a newcomer, and the Damasco DS30. I recently did a review for. Gorgeous piece. I have it here on the Damasco factory rubber strap that's textured, really nice. And these are very comparable. This is going to be at 39 millimeters versus a 38.5. So if you want a slightly bigger watch, or maybe this just feels just a little bit too small for you, this could be the answer. And then of course this does have the hardened submarine steel case, and it's actually cheaper at just under $1,000. So currently there are no plans for Damasco to release a bracelet for this piece yet, but I'm sure if they did, it would actually bring the pricing pretty close to what you have there. So really nice, more of a modern, you know, more contemporary aesthetic. I really do like the crosshairs and the execution. You don't have a display case back. This is definitely going to be more of a utilitarian watch, going to be less versatile, but I think you know, for the right wrist, this could be definitely an option, and I think compares very strongly. So another look here, it would be the, you know, of course, a huge favorite. It would be the Stowa Flieger Classic at 40 millimeters. Now, this is another watch that can just be such an awesome everyday watch. Any wrist, anywhere, this thing is going to wear well, it's going to look nice, and it really just, again, you also have a display case back, nice top grade movement there from ETA, really finely executed. And you're also going to get some pedigree in that Stowa, of course, was one of the first manufacturers of the Flieger watches. So, you know, Sinn has, one of the nice things is they're a small, you know, brand that has pedigree. Here you go, small brand with pedigree at a much lower price. But of course, this is only going to be 50 meters water resistance. There's not a bracelet option or anything like that. But if you're looking for a pilot's watch to wear every day, this could also definitely fall into that category. So you might want to take a look. It is definitely very well respected. And I'd say the difference in the lineage is that, you know, Sinn is still very closely tied to the Sinn family versus Stowa, you know, kind of being brought back, you know, by different ownership now. Still tightly related, but, you know, I wouldn't say quite as clean if you're going to really get down into kind of the horological weeds of it. But still, I think a great option and a great comparable there. So now let's go ahead and see some Loom for this guy. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the lights. So as you can see, really nice Loom on there. Nothing crazy. It's not a diver again, and you're gonna see that it's not gonna have some super huge staying power because this is, you know, C1 Loom. So it's gonna look very nice, clear, and white during daylight, but in the dark, it's gonna give you that green glow. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is printed on there, so it's not going to have tons of Loom caked on or anything like that. No applied indices filled with Loom, so it's going to fade a little bit quicker. But let's go ahead and get some low light transition for you to get an idea of what this is going to look like coming indoors to outdoors, getting in your car, stepping in and out of a dark movie theater, you know, get an idea of the way that natural low lighting is going to affect your timepiece. Looking at the finishing there, just really gorgeous and consistent. Absolutely fantastic. Big fan. Let the lights come back on. Let's go ahead and wait for the color balance to get back there. All right, so closing thoughts on the Sinn 556A. Now on the wrist, again, super classic proportions, super comfortable, nice substantial wrist presence still, especially with this H-link bracelet. It's not something you're gonna forget is on the wrist, and you know, you're not gonna want to forget because this is a piece to be proud of. Really great. I think the Arabic numerals variant is just wonderful. You know, there are a lot of different model variants that are out there right now. I think this one really is kind of the apex of the 556 line. It's really just kind of their attainable icon of a reverse halo watch, really, for Sinn, where it's one of their entry-level watches, but it's also one of their most sought-after watches, which I think is always great. Now, comparable models, it's honestly pretty tough to find something else that's going to be 200 meters water resistance. But as you saw today, you know, there are other models that are out there that are going to be less water resistant, but do fill a very similar role and that are going to cost less. One of the things you're going to get for buying a Sinn is the pedigree, the name. You're going to get some brand recognition that you normally wouldn't get from such a small brand and from such an affordable watch. So that's something to think about. You know, you're gonna be paying nice watch prices for a nice watch. So it's not going to be a huge deal. It's not the deal of the century, but you're going to be getting a quality watch and you're going to know that it's worth every penny because you're not paying for their marketing program or for a bunch of ads they ran in a magazine or, you know, for a bunch of money that somebody paid a celebrity to wear or do product placement in a movie for. Sinn's name and brand recognition is based off of their own excellence in their models and in their watches and their execution, really in their own, you know, in their own name. They've earned it, and I think that it's a pricier watch for what it is, but it's still an excellent watch for the money. And you know, comparables: Rolex Explorer on the high end, right? On the low end, Seiko Alpinist. And then you're gonna have things that are a little bit more closely comparable, the Damasco D30 and the Stoa Flieger Classic. I think if you don't need a bracelet, those are definitely options to look at. You know, the bottom line, this is just a super versatile piece that can really fit into any collection of quality timepieces. So if you have anything that's good, this watch will fit right in. If you have nothing but high-end stuff, this watch will still fit in. If you have a bunch of affordable timepieces, this watch can fit in at the top of your collection, but it'll definitely still fit in. This is just that great versatile piece, and you know, I'm really happy to present it to you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you like the video? If you did, please do hit like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thanks, guys.